Hey, my name is Graham Averill. I'm senior editor at Blue Ridge Outdoors magazine. I spent the last month testing out Columbia's new Heat Elite jacket. It's a lightweight fleece with a little bit of insulation, and Columbia's new Omni Shield technology, which is a liner that's filled with tiny silver mirrors. Take a look here. Basically, it's a whole bunch of little silver dots. The idea there is that the liner will reflect some of the body heat that you radiate as you exercise. Columbia claims that the jacket is 20% warmer than other jackets in the same category. Today I wore the Heat Elite on a trail run. It's about 29 degrees today, so it's definitely not bitter cold. Normally if I were running today, I would probably just put on a lightweight fleece. So what I wanted to test out was how the Heat Elite could wick moisture away from your body. Because if the liner, which is lined with silver mirror dots that are bouncing the heat back to your body, if it's trapping that body heat, you got to think it's also going to trap the sweat and the moisture that you're creating. So Columbia says they're trying to account for this by providing wicking material between the tiny little dots. Get a close look, you can see the black material between the silver dots. The Heat Elite is probably overkill for intensely cardio activities like trail running or even cross-country skiing at warmer temperatures, say around freezing. The real question is how warm will the Heat Elite keep you in really, really cold temperatures? And that's what I want to find out.
Here's the cooler.
Extreme cold testing, Columbia Heat Elite jacket. It's 11 below in here. We'll see how it works out. All right, so I'm inside the freezer. It's 11 below.
About negative 11. Nice.
11 below.
I've only been in here for a few minutes, but already my face is really quite cold. Everything else, torso, so far so good. Not a lot to do in here, so just sort of hanging out. Trying to generate some heat here. There's not a lot of room, so I'm doing some air squats. I'm still perfectly warm in my torso, but I want to try to generate some heat to see if I actually start sweating or how well the jacket handles any bit of moisture that I might create. Because the last thing you want to do at 11 below temperatures is actually start sweating so that your clothes get wet. That would be a disaster. So now I'm just running in place. I gotta say, torso feels great. Pretty much the only thing that's cold is my face, which is freezing, and my hands. But so far, the Heat Elite is doing its job. I can't imagine that I would actually be out running if it was 11 below. But if I did, this is a jacket I want to wear. Look how fast I'm going. So this is the inside of the freezer. It's definitely tight quarters. Some good looking food there. So the Heat Elite is basically it's a fleece with a thin amount of synthetic insulation, 60 grams, which isn't a lot. So it's very thin, sleek fleece, but it's lined with Columbia's new Omni Heat liner, which is essentially a bunch of tiny silver mirrors in the shape of little dots throughout the entire inside of the jacket. Okay, so the theory is that these tiny mirrors bounce heat back to your body that you're radiating when you exercise. It sounds like a gimmick, but basically the technology's been around for a long time. It's no different than those emergency heat blankets that you see at races. Mass developed the technology back in the 60s, all it does is track your body's heat. So Columbia claims the Omni heat jackets will be 20% warmer than similar jackets on the market. It's hard to quantify exactly how much warmer this jacket is, but I will say my body is quite warm and it's 11 below, and if you see behind me, I got a fan blowing on me pretty hard. So let's just say these are pretty cold conditions. Now I've just been sitting here hanging out for about 20-30 minutes. Just wanted to see how the jacket does when you're not exercising. You're just sitting in cold temperatures like on the lift line or maybe at camp. Still, my body's pretty warm. My shoulders got a little bit chilly, but so far I haven't been uncomfortable and I haven't started shivering. So far, so good. Okay, about an hour in the cooler. I gotta say, it stayed very toasty in there, except for my face. It was cold.